This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 18. And it is said, Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Kol Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Rachakadas Rakatham. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is an edifying lesson. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, which appear like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth to you. I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And basically, I saw an article on RT going into, pretty much prophecy, you know what I mean? So my spirit was moved to actually bring out, some scriptures, because I thought of a few when I saw the headline. So jump into some of this article. I may not read the whole thing because, I'm not trying to make this video too long. Salakia for that. I thought the article was still up, but that's the spirit. It came straight to it, though. It says, it says, vicious sanctions are hurting Russia, but Moscow has planned to ditch U.S. dollar and axe dependency on West Foreign Ministry, tells RT. This is dated today, May 3rd, 2021. And this was like, a couple hours ago. It says, facing harsh economic measures imposed by Washington and its allies in Europe, Russia is working to cut Western influence out of its economy, Foreign Minister spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said in an exclusive interview with RT. In April, U.S. President Joe Biden unveiled a new package of sanctions against Russia's businesses and officials, while at the same time effectively banning American financial institutions from buying shares in Russian sovereign debt. Officials in Washington described the restrictions as a proportional response to alleged meddling by Moscow in the 2020 U.S. presidential elections and assertions Russia was behind the colossal SolarWinds cyber espionage breach detected last year. The Kremlin has strongly denied both sets of claims. The UK and the EU have both since rolled out their own sanctions, and there is talk in European capitals of more measures to come. Few moves have been as extreme, though, as the decision to target national debt bonds, which the White House says was designed to hit the country's economy while minimizing the impact on world's markets. However, some economists claim the package of measures was mostly symbolic, and the new rules would simply be circumvented if buyers still wanted to pick up shares in Russia's debt. So, basically, the point I'm getting at is basically, Russia's getting hit with sanctions, and therefore they're playing with Russia's money. So Russia basically is trying to go around all that by, I just heard I forgot where I heard the information from. It was one of these alternative media sites, but they was talking about how Russia had bought a lot of basically start dealing with the euro. You know what I mean? And then it's a part in this article that's going to go into right now. All these countries basically are looking into digital currencies because that's the future. That's what the direction of the world is headed. But it made me think of well, hold on. It says a gesture of desperation. The characteristically blunt Harova told RT over the weekend that new economic barriers were having a complex negative impact on both Russian and Western economies. According to her, the price of playing our out hostilities through the financial markets is high, and estimates of the damage vary, but are well within the hundreds of billions of dollars. And that's basically going into another trade war, like America was having a trade war with China. And trade wars end up leading to real wars. It says, unfortunately, the diplomatic spokeswoman said the reality of our time has been the increased use of politically motivated unilateral measures by some Western states, mainly the U.S. We see the sanctions against Russia more and more as a gesture of desperation due to the inability of elites to accept the new realities upon their collective groupthink and recognize Russia's right to determine its own development path and build relations with its partners. Because at the end of the day, being that we got that fiat currency, that petrodollar, so these countries can't really make moves without actually dealing with the U.S. dollar. But and then because the U.S. dollar is so much in debt, and you know what I mean, like you got economies actually tied into it. That's why when America was hit hard during the CV last year, other countries' economies was suffering as well. And that's why you literally about to have all these countries go digitally. It says, while the ruble has been hit hard by falling oil prices, geopolitical uncertainty, and the global recession that has accompanied the CV-19 pandemic. That's a spirit, because I just literally just said this. The country appears more resilient than most of its contemporaries, while a number of other European nations are still... Slovakia. The country appears more resilient than most of the contemporaries, while a number of other European nations are still languishing in the lockdowns. Most Russian businesses have been trading consistently with few restrictions since an initial strict quarantine period in the first half of last year. Then it's going into the GDP and all that. It says the U.S. assistance approach is simply to send a message that it will not tolerate what it deems as aggressive and malign influence on the part of Moscow. I was clear with President Putin that we could have gone further, but I chose not to do so, Biden told journalists at the time. And then you got to remember just the tension that was just between America and Russia, because Biden supposed to made a statement that Russia, Putin was like a killer or he said something along those lines, and it brought a lot of tension. I think the Biden administration was trying to meet with Putin and whatnot, and he wouldn't meet with him. Like I say, so it's all kind of tensions going. It says a swift response. At the end of April, the EU Parliament passed a non-binding resolution in which representatives called for the harshest possible steps to be taken against Russia in the event of an all-out conflict with neighboring Ukraine. Tensions have risen rapidly in recent weeks over fierce fighting in the Donbass between Kyiv's forces and those loyal to the two self-declared breakaway republics, which have sought support from Moscow. In such a scenario, the members of the European Parliament behind the motion said imports of oil and gas from Russia to the EU should be immediately stopped. At the same time, the country should be excluded from the SWIFT payment system, and all assets in the EU of oligarchs close to the Russian authorities and their families in the EU need to be frozen and their visas canceled. It says, speaking at its meeting with his Chinese counterpart last month, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said the United States has declared its mission is to limit the technological development opportunities of both the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China. And that's why you got certain collaborations like the BRICS nations with the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, because all of those nations basically are fed up and literally dealing with the United States and dealing with this petrodollar. You got more, like I said, countries. I mean, like I said, that's why China's making the moves that they're making. That's why China and Russia hoarded all that gold and bought all these precious metals. Because, like I said, they're looking to get around using this dollar. And that's going to make Esau E mad. Made me think of a couple scriptures, though. This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. We'll start at verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he's a proud man. And who is that talking about? This red Hebrew Edomite. Neither keepeth at home. Where I mean, this man wants to. I mean, literally, you heard the article. You know what I mean? Like, America was all in Russia's dealings when just recently when Russia basically was literally talking about invading the Ukraine and basically made a statement saying if the U.S. get involved, they're going to wish that they didn't get involved. Roughly paraphrased, you know what I mean? This man wants to police the whole world. You know what I'm saying? You can't even police this fucking place. It says, who enlargeth his desires hell, because he's a greedy man, as death and cannot be satisfied, because he's covenants. You know what I mean? He's a carnal man. So therefore, he can't be sated. His appetite can't be sated because you know what I mean. He can never get enough. But gather unto all nations and heap up unto him all people. And he wants all these different nations of people to be up under this philosophy. I was listening to the brother from Mississippi. He was literally saying, when you go to other countries, you're supposed to expect to experience their culture to a certain extent. But a lot of these countries have adapted. Like, you'll leave and go to China and get all the shit you see in America. From McDonald's and Burger King and Popeyes and, you know what I mean? Like Kentucky Fried Chicken and shit like that. You just with some you gonna be experiencing the corporations here, or you're gonna be seeing the corporations that are here, but amongst heathens. You know what I mean? Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And when you go into that, thick clay is literally going into this debt. This money is a debt system. You know what I mean? When you go into fiat currencies, it's not a real currency. It's like a. That's why when you go into they say that this money system is like witchcraft, because when you take the time to literally think about it, it's not like this paper money is not backed by nothing. So how the banking institutions work. Like, a banking institution can literally only have $100,000 within the bank itself, but they can loan up to 10,000. 10 times more. So they can make not 10, but $1 million worth of loans, but they only got 100,000. And the way that they make their money is literally they may give a person a loan, but why do you think you need collateral? So if you fail to pay back that loan with the interest, because you're going to pay interest, then literally the collateral that you actually put up, they're only going to get, like they're going to take that collateral. So literally they never had the actual money to give you in the first place, because it's all numbers in the ether and on pieces of paper. So that's like witchcraft, you know what I mean? Like, how I'm going to get something from you that has no value, and then, like I said, if it don't work out right, I give you something that, like, if I got to give you my actual car, but you didn't really give me any money, because, like I said, if it's just like you like I said, you literally just, typed in some digits out of thin air, and then this is the money that you loaned me, but then, like I said, I can't afford to pay it back. So now, like usually when you do, like when they use collateral, like say, for instance, you take a $10,000 loan, you might have to put up 20,000 in assets. So they automatically get over. You know what I mean? Like, so that's witchcraft though. That's sorcery. Uh, and based on this, that you got all these people trying to escape from out of this system, that's gonna have Satan come down with great wrath. This is Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Because he's seeing the system fall apart. You know what I mean? Literally, the brother from Vegas, I can't pronounce his name, or I don't want to butcher his name out of respect, but the head of that cap, he literally put a video up talking about that Operation Homebound that's going on in California, showing you literally how they forcing the vaccine on the disabled. And it's so crazy, because literally, like, you got these people screaming and trying to run and trying to fight back, and yet still they up there after they give it to them, like, yay, start clapping and shit. Look, just completely satanic. There's some one part in this article I wanted to get to. Ditching the greenback. Washington's record of introducing sanctions on rival states as short notice have undermined confidence in the dollar, Moscow claims. Lavrov, Deputy Foreign Minister Alexander Penkin recently warned journalists that the unpredictability of U.S. foreign policy has called into question the reliability and convenience of using the American currency as the priority currency of deals. These disclosures put weight behind Moscow's previous bombastic rhetoric about the importance of reducing American supremacy in financial systems. In one such set of remarks, Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabov told Bloomberg in February that it was essential to preempt hostile confrontation with the new president, Joe Biden. We need to barricade ourselves against the U.S. financial and to eliminate dependency on this toxic source of permanent hostility. Hostile actions, he said. We need to cut back the role of the dollar in any operation. I'm trying to get this one particular point because it went into the digital dollar. Bear with me for a second. Yeah, here it goes. It says new developments. It says she pointed to the Bank of Russia's own financial messaging system as a possible alternative with options. Well, let me bring it back. It says Zakharova cautioned that the question of Russia's being disconnected from SWIFT is still only hypothetical, but said that nevertheless cross-governmental studies are underway to minimize the risk and potential economic damage that will be caused by our country's access to international financial instruments and payment mechanisms being limited. She pointed to the Bank of Russia's own financial messaging system as a possible alternative, with options for interfacing it with European, Iranian, and Chinese mechanisms currently under discussion. New development on online finance could also be en route of dependency on the most common Western-run institutions. The foreign ministry spokeswoman added that Russia is actively studying the opportunities offered by digital technology and their potential for enhancing the stability, stability, and independence of the national financial system and means of making payments, with an understanding that digital money could in the future become the foundation for an updated international financial system and cross-border transactions. So basically, you're seeing how all these countries are pushing for this digital. You know, you're seeing it already taking place in like places like Switzerland. You watching China literally beta testing, and literally, you know, they've been operating without like using actual physical currency for a while now. I want to say since like the pandemic, for about a year. I think Switzerland has been doing it for way longer than that. But so that's why Switzerland is already like, it's like the what's that, not the prototype, but the base model of how they want the system. That's why Switzerland didn't lock down. They didn't have to lock down because, you know what I mean, and they come with some jive and bullshit. But Switzerland is already that country that's already, people already got the chip, you know what I mean. And that's what we going into, you know. Made me think of that scripture in Revelations, you know, mark of the beast scripture, Revelation chapter 13 verse 16. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be the way that you're going to be able to, only way that you're going to be able to, well, I ain't going to say only way, because through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, those that choose not to partake in this system are going to be sustained. You know what I mean? You know, so, but to be able to be a part of this society, that's this society that they're creating in front of our very eyes, you're going to have to actually deal with, you know, with that CV stab and jab, and you're going to have to deal with, you know what I mean, that MOB. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And that's going into, I mean, that's not no embargo. That's not no philosophy. But when you go into that word mark is charagma, which means an incision. So it's a physical thing. You know what I mean? And, you know, the elders and many brothers have broke down how, I mean, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, but I'm in the spirit of like Elder Apostle Tahar, because at the end of the day, this is not complicated. You know what I mean? And if you can't get it, it's probably not for you. So, to hell with you. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, I pray that all the elect are awakened as soon as possible, but it's all the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. At the end of the day, though, but if you a nigga, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you, like I said, there's no hope for you, you know what I mean? And, you know, at the end of the day, nobody's going to take the time to try to actually break it down and get you to see it or agree with it. You know what I mean? I've done that for the last 5 years with this demonic ass demon woman. So, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, some people going to get it, some people ain't. Just like some people gonna take the mark, and some people of Yahweh Shem Yahushua's elect are not. But then again, you gonna have people that's like 2/3 that's not gonna take it as well, and probably gonna suffer or die grievous, or gonna be everybody got a part they're playing in the Most High's movie. But like I said, we about to come into dangerous times. I'm gonna end it with this, Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because at the end of the day, we about to come in. We all about to be tempted and tested. You know what I mean? But those that truly believe and sincere in this thing, because it's a such thing called an hour of temptation, when everybody's gonna be presented with that. With that you're gonna be put in a position of, you're gonna have to choose. In the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about I present for you life and death. You know what I mean? So you're gonna be presented with that choice of choosing to follow after the system and be a part of this shit, or actually like holding true to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. But pay attention to this. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. So that's not what you're not going to be able to keep yourself. The Lord's going to put a spirit on the men, those special men, to actually to endure and to refuse. You know what I mean? It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, and I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Because it's a judgment for taking this, for actually taking, or trying to be a part of this beast system, and it's death. It's a grievous, horrible death. You know what I mean? Because even if the Lord don't break down your body, you watching people take this stab and jab and die. You know what I mean? Like, people that literally just died, literally taking this shit. You know what I mean? And then to show you how goofy people is, like, you literally had DMX. DMX was just about to drop another album. He was going on tour. So in order to tour, you're going to have the stab and jab. To show you how full of shit and fucked up these people is, they had him take this shit. It didn't work out right and died. And then what they do, they try to slander this man's name. I mean, but at the end of the day, you know what? It's so deep, because the brothers were sitting up there saying it. They was like, they always knew something was going to happen to him, because I recall the day too. I remember he had his touring bus or whatnot, and we were at our old camp spot, and his bus rolled past. So, I didn't correlate it at all like that when he died, but at the same time, it was like, damn, yeah, the Lord code. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, or be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Kol Haloyim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Rachakaras. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwath and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, which appear like the other nations, but subscribe to the truth. To you, I say shalom. Until next time, I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, and Mawatha Lababal. Shalom.